Did they make it or did they starve to death out in the woods somewhere?
So today I wanted to take a minute, show you a little video of some problems I ran into with my 2021 Chevy Silverado. I had some problems with the backup camera for my trailer and the connections and their location. I called the dealership and they tried to work through it and really couldn't find a good solution for me. But through a few other people, I was able to find out just the information I needed. I wanted to share that with you today. What I had was, I had a connection here that was my 7-way and the two cameras that are OEM cameras for inside the trailer and also behind the trailer. And I needed to move those from here into the bed. And due to the way the wiring harness is that's just not a perfectly simple process. You need a couple jumper wires, and nobody seemed to know what they were, but I did find them, and I wanted to share that with you because it'll make it a lot easier. So let's go ahead and take a look at these plugs up close, and then I'll show you what I did and the couple of things that I had to do to get that fixed up so that I had it the way I wanted it. So let's take a look at that real quick. So this connector right here is your 7-way and a 4-way, which to me is incredibly useless in the bed of the truck, but that's where they put it. And you can see I've already moved it down here, and you can see the outline of where the old one was. Now the old one I moved up into the bed, but to do that you have to have two jumper wires. And here in a minute I'll show you those packages, and it shows the name, brand, and the part numbers. Again, this is on a 2021 Chevrolet Silverado 3500. Like I said, these were useless to me. So let me show you the other end of it. Okay, so here's the connector in the bed. So I've moved it up here. You've got your 7-way, and then you've got your trailer connection. If you can see the embossment there, it shows you the one that should be on the outside of the trailer, the one that's on the inside of the trailer. And you can see where I had cut this liner with a utility knife and then just peeled that out with a cold chisel. So here's the way it looked before, and I just put a little red line on there, trimmed it, went around and peeled it out, and that allowed it to clip back in. Otherwise it just wouldn't clip in. So you've got to get that liner out of the way. You can see how thick that stuff is, probably 1/16 of an inch. Just won't let those metal tabs grab. So here's where your connector goes in the bumper, and you can see that metal tab there. This will be blurry for a second, but we'll come around, we'll try to get a little light, and there's the other side. So you just, if you can push those in with your finger or screwdriver or whatever while you're kind of pushing it out on the connector, it'll pop right out, and then you can unhook the wiring harness from it. Just hook the new one back in, pop it back in, and you're done with that end of it. And then right here, okay, let's see if I can show you these really well. I'm not sure if it's blurry or not, but here's the connectors. And as you can see, this little coax wire has a blue connector. And let's see if we can see the other one there. It's right behind, kind of tough to see. But this right here's a black one, so it just shows you that those are two different wires. And you can just follow those up right up this wiring harness that I taped them to, and up to the new or the other bed connector up in there. See if I can get a good light on that. Kind of, it's almost harder
to film this in a way that's useful. But anyway, you can see where they go up there and they plug in, and really easy job. Just you know, it takes a little finger dexterity to get the connectors out. But other than that, it's really not too bad. So here's where my backup camera drops out, and you can see that the camera wire is quite a bit shorter. Now, the problem that I run into is I have such a long trailer. It's a 48-foot gooseneck. The cable that comes from the OEM cable for this camera is 60 feet long. Well, by the time you go up in the back to get the camera up away from the ground and come down through all your grommets in your trailer and up and down and all that stuff, you're a few feet short. Now, maybe all of you won't run into that, but you don't want these hanging over the tailgate to be plugged into that back camera connector. So moving those connectors for the truck are incredibly important. So this is the way that I did it, and I'll show you the back of the trailer and where I had to mount the camera. But if you have a little shorter trailer, just make sure you lay it out carefully before you go mounting it up. So let's take a look at that real quick. So that's where I mounted my camera. That's really all I had cable for. I did it at the same time that I put these reverse lights or backup lights on here. These are just cheap Amazon backup lights, and well, I've got another video coming out with the installation on these and some of the things that I found about those. But let's focus on the camera. And with the view that this has, it really doesn't make a whole lot of difference. And the other footnote on this is you really don't want to depend on this to be able to make a real clear interpretation of where you're backing to. To me, these things are just a reference, you know, to make sure that you're not backing into a tree. You know, for me, I'm always pulling into a spot late at night, particularly backing up here to buildings. So it's just a nice little reference for me. So anyway, I wouldn't depend on them a whole lot, but it's still nice to have. So anyway, that's where I mounted it. It gives me a great view of the whole back of the trailer. I can see both sides real well. I can tell how far I am from the rocks in the building and all my mechanicals that I back up along to. Here's what's important about this, is take this screw out, take the camera halves out, split this case, and this little camera connects to the wire by a little clip. So take that out before you start anything, because that's the direction we're going to run it. So that's the first thing you want to do, is get that little camera unhooked and out of this case so that you can thread that wire through reasonably sized holes through your trailer frame all the way back here. So start at the front, come back, and then just plug the camera in and bolt it up. So that's what's important there. That's what I struggled with the first time I hooked it up. So hopefully that helps you a little bit. This connector doesn't come apart on this end. I tried. It doesn't come apart, and this thing right here is impossible to get through any holes that you might make or maybe already exist without being modified. So it's imperative to take that camera housing apart and unclip that connection and feed it that direction. So you want to start at the truck and work backwards. That way when you get this hooked up, you know exactly how high you can run that camera or where you can put it. So that's important. Comes apart at the camera, not here. So here are the two packages, and it just shows you what kind of jack they are. Right there, it shows you the length, which is 36 inches, which is perfect, and the part number. Hopefully this will be clear enough. Name brand up there is Pasternak, and here's the other one. And those are the two components you need. I'm gonna guess they were 40 bucks a piece or whatever. And these were perfect. They did exactly what I needed. And this only takes about 10 minutes to do. It'll take me longer to explain it to you than what it'll actually take.
So hopefully this video helps. It's not a technical information. It's just you're going to kind of have to weed through some of this stuff yourself. And these are the part numbers that worked for this truck this year. I'm guessing they probably worked for several years of trucks, because that camera I used on a 19, and this is a 21, and I'm guessing all the way to 25 is the same. But you can ask these people at Pasternak. I don't have an affiliation with them. I just found them to be very helpful, and these are just easy to order. A couple, 3 days, you'll probably have them. And any other wiring that you need, they'll probably have. So you can call them and ask them, or email them or whatever. It's kind of hard to find information on this because I looked. We'll have a video on that backup lights coming out here shortly, and show you some of the issues with that and some things that'll save you some time. Hopefully this video helps you out. I know it's not very instructional and you didn't get to watch me work on it and stuff, but I was kind of figuring it out as I went. If you have any trouble, send me a message. I'll try to answer any questions and try to help you find the resources you need to get it done. Thanks for watching.